All right. It's the Malapert Smark Podcast, episode 126. Thank you very much for joining us. I got Vlad, the wrestling expert. I got Robert, the frozen Asian, with me. Our two mainstays here, but let's not waste much time. Let's get straight into it, all right? We're going to get straight into Smackdown right off the bat. Just a reminder also, before we start, that we are on our way to 500 subscribers. We're on the march to 500. I got a graphic for this. The countdown to 500. We're about 158 subscribers away. So we need 158 souls to get on board with the Malapert Smark Podcast. All right, but hey, 500, you sort of get monetized, I guess, or you had a chance to make money. So we want to see what that's like. So come on, guys, help us out. It doesn't really cost you anything. We're free. We don't know commercials, not like Cornette where you got to listen to him talk about Magic Spoon for 10 minutes. Like nothing here. We're just going to jump straight into the wrestling talk.
That's a good point.
Like right now. So, all right, guys, let's jump straight into it. I'm going to go straight into Smackdown. What was it this past Friday? The 13th, right? Friday the 13th it was. It was
That's
Solo
right, actually.
Sikoa. 2 days ago as we're recording right now. We're recording this on a Sunday night. This will probably come out tomorrow morning, Monday morning. But this is the 15th right now, but we're going back to the 13th. Friday night, it was Solo and Cody in a steel cage, right? Solo's been asking for this match because Roman ruined his match at SummerSlam at his return, and he says that he would have won if it wasn't for Roman, so here he is coming in. Let's go over, summarize it first, then we'll get our reviews from Vlad and Robert and myself. So anybody want to jump in with any comments during the summary? Of course, you are free to. Please do. I would like any comments that pop into your mind. But here's Cody's entrance. And this was right off the bat to start the show, which I thought was a little strange at first, but it seemed to make sense as the show went along. So it wasn't AEW style where they just had this and that was it. There was more to the story after the match. But here's Charles Robinson. Little Nate.
Mikhail had the same idea, Little Nate.
Still going after all these years?
Still going strong, man, yeah.
But yeah, all right, well, here's the beginning of the match. I'll play the beginning of it just because I liked how it happened, the exchange. I'll go to watch-along mode because they don't let us play these type of things here on YouTube, so
the Smash Mouth style,
just the opening sequence.
So much success.
There's Solo selling, pushing him away, pushing Cody away.
Smash Cody and get
Whoa, nice punch from Solo, ducked by Cody. Power punch, man. I don't know. I thought it started off hot, but let's move back to picture mode. That's all I wanted to play. I really like that opening sequence, but you guys can zoom in and watch that in the corner if you want, or find the original tape. But let's move along. This was a steel cage match, so Escape the Cage was in play, right, Vlad?
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to play this part because Solo hit a move on Cody right here. It was a what is this called, Vlad? It's sort of like a choke slam, but
Uranagi.
Uranagi. Thank you, Robert.
Good one, Robert. Okay, so he Uranagis him, and I was like, well, at this point, why doesn't he just run out the cage? You know what I mean? Like he attempts a pinfall, but I guess he could just open the door and run out. I never liked these cage matches where you could open the door and run out. So anyways, here's another one where he hits Cody with the what is that called? The hip attack, or what do they call it in Samoan? But
I don't know what it's called.
The Samoan hip attack.
I don't know why I don't know what it's called. I know what Tony Storm calls it. Yeah. So he hits Cody in the corner here, but Cody's right next to the door. You see? So he asks the referee to open the door, and he almost escapes here, and then Solo has to drag him in. So this door thing, I don't think there should be a door when they have these steel cage matches. It should be doorless. They should drop the cage down on them, and then they got to climb out. Climbing out is okay to me, but the door is stupid when they're trying to crawl out. But,
I agree.
All right. Well, anyways, here's a high spot. Here's Cody jumping off the cage. Not as good as when he moonsaulted off the cage in AEW, but okay. Here's him trying to leave the cage, and Solo slams the door on him. And I think this is like the end of the match, basically. Yeah, this is the end of the match. So Solo slams the door on him as Cody tries to escape, and Solo goes for a Samoan spike, but he misses wildly. And then Cody counters with the crossroads and a 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Thanks for coming, Solo Sikoa. Fucking clean victory for Cody Rhodes. No interference from the bloodline at all. Okay, so that's basically the angle. I'm splitting this story today on SmackDown into two angles, which is my discretion because this is my podcast and I'm the producer. So I split it into two angles. First the match, and then the after match and the story afterwards of them setting up whatever they set up, which we'll get to in a minute. But I just want to talk about the match first. So I'm getting reviews from you guys on the match. I'll start with Vlad. Let's see what Vlad's review was. I got a video right here. Vlad's review. Vlad's review is... Oh, wait, that's Robert. Sorry.
I was like, wait, that's not me.
Here's Vlad. Okay, so Vlad gave it a thumbs up.
That's the image of me? Oh, God. All right. I look like it looks like I just woke up.
No, it looks like a cool... That's an AI version of you. I ran that through an AI. It's like...
Yeah, so the AI version of me is stoned all the time. Okay, got it.
Anyway, hold on. I got to put a minute and a half on the clock.
I'll give that a thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right, Vlad. I got a minute and a half. Whatever you got to think about Solo getting buried here and losing clean to Cody before we move on to the rest of this story.
Buried, I don't think is the right term here. He lost to one of the most popular and prominent wrestlers in the roster. But I did expect, or at the very least I thought, that there would be some interference in the match, only because like the cage opening thing, it seemed like it was a setup for it. I thought, why even have that in a cage match if you're not going to have the bloodline interfere? But overall, I mean, the match was good. I mean, if you take a look past that, which I guess it's probably one of the reasons it's not really like a fire match or a 2 thumbs up match. It was just 1 thumbs up. The work was good. The stuff they did was, very respectable. Cody's a very good worker, and I think Solo's one of the better workers as far as like the Samoans that I've seen in a while. Like he's just very good. His work looks really, really clean, and I have no issues with it whatsoever with the match itself. I thought they put on a really good show, but I just had a little bit more expectations on what I thought I would see. It doesn't mean what they did ended up was bad or good, or that I was right or they were wrong, whatever. It just, that's what I thought would happen, and the match seemed to set up that with the cage door opening and whatnot. But overall, the match was fine. It was good, very good.
All right, before I move on to Robert, I forgot to introduce before we told you your review, or told the people your review. This is our rating system. I have a little graphic now that tells the people how we rate our matches. Well, not our matches. We rate angles. And we're not really rating it based on whether we think it's good or not. We're not experts. It's just based on whether we like it. So Vlad liked that. He gave it a +1. Liked it, just 1 thumbs up, a regular thumbs up. It's a good rating for us on our system. So, okay, Robert also, let me pull up his graphic here. And Robert gave it also a thumbs up. So the same rating as Vlad. Okay. All right,
At least Robert looks normal.
Okay.
He looks like Robert for the most part.
That's his picture in all of our thumbnails. I can't believe you guys haven't noticed that yet, but okay. All right, Robert. Well, you got a minute and a half. You got any comments on Solo losing clean in this match?
I did expect him to lose, but I also expected at least an attempt of an interference one way or another from the bloodline, even though it's a steel cage match. So for them to not even appear at all, that's what really surprised me the most, not necessarily the clean victory. Also, I also agree with what Vlad mentioned earlier about Solo doing his work being good. I actually think he's a lot more interesting than both of his older brothers, Jimmy and Jay, and not just his in-ring work. I like his promo style better than Jimmy and Jay. I kind of cringe whenever I hear Jimmy or Jay do promos, honestly. But Solo, I can listen to Solo's promos, and I think he surpassed both of his brothers, both in and out of the ring. But yeah, this was a good match. I'm not really surprised that Solo lost clean, but I was expecting some at least an attempted interference. So that's the only thing that surprised me about this.
All right. Well,
Can I just say something real quick? Something that
yeah,
popped into my head.
Vlad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So after the match, I mean, I'm not going to go. I know we're about to discuss what happened after the match, but like they did come out the Bloodline and they climbed the cage literally in 10 seconds. So why couldn't they do that during the match? They literally were there in a blink of an eye. So that part kind of threw me as well. Like, dude, what? You guys just did that in like 10 seconds. So maybe there should have been there should have been some sort of stipulation, maybe like that said like, okay, if they interfere, then like automatically like he's disqualified, even though it's like whatever, like you can't interfere, no interference whatsoever, or maybe make it Hell in a Cell where you can't come.
Yeah, they were busy in NXT earlier in the week, so they barely had time to make it to the arena to try to get inside the cage.
Yeah, so they just just made it right when it was over, so, right? Like literally right when it ended.
Excuse me,
that's
Robert. That's a good point. That's actually the first logical explanation of maybe why their flight was late coming from NXT Tuesday, 3 days earlier, and this was Friday, so they had a hard time making it back. But okay, I guess
it takes 3 days to fly out of a place now.
Well, all right. I'm gonna give my rating for this match. Here's Kahan's rating.
I can't wait for this.
Kahan's rating is this made me sick. The first ever, this literally made me feel sick to my stomach rating.
Wait a second. And
on the Malapert Smark.
AEW all in and all out, and you never had one of those.
This dude watching Solo.
Here, bro.
Hold on, let me just tell the people. By the way, let me pull up our rating system. This is the lowest rating we have. I wish we had something lower than this. This takes off 5 points off my SmackDown rating, by the way. It's -5 for made me sick. Like, literally watching Solo take that pinfall clean, I got this literal sick feeling in my stomach. Like, I have never been so sad for such a burial. I think Solo is great. What the hell? To lose clean, I'll say it. You guys are all cool with it. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Solo is cool as hell. This totally ruined the angle after it. Why the fuck should I care? I'll jump ahead, but why the fuck should I care now that Solo is challenging Roman and Cody to a tag team match after he just got buried? Like, he sucks now. It's over for Solo. Fuck this shit, man. I fucking hated this, honestly. I'm so mad at this. This was the worst possible way they could have ended this match. What is it so hard to let those guys jump in and then let Roman come in and, thwart them? And it would have been crazy. It was a clean loss for Solo. Okay, whatever.
I don't think it's as bad as Keon is making out to be, but I agree that they could have given him a couple ways out, but yes, that part's true. But I wouldn't have put it as the worst segment in the history of like so far segments that we've reviewed.
Okay, so I think it plays into the angle that happens later where Cody said he was done with the Bloodline. Right, he said he wanted nothing to do with them anymore. Yeah,
exactly. So why is he gonna be? Well, we could go over that. That doesn't make sense to me either. Why he even took this match? But all right, fine. Let's jump into it. I'll explain what happened in the post match. So, like I was telling the people earlier, this was the first thing in the day, which I was like, why are they doing this after this match? No one's gonna care anymore. But the angle did carry on afterwards. So, like Vlad said, they did come in the Bloodline. Solo's henchmen, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa. They climbed the cage.
They climbed it like it was nothing.
Here's Jacob Fatu on the other side. So they get to Cody. They Samoan spike him. They're beating his ass, and which I don't really. It didn't really feel good that they were beating his ass. They just lost clean, and Solo is sending his guys he's sending Jacob to the top of the cage to do a splash off the top of the cage and he's still listening to him. So everyone's still listening to Solo, even though he sucks. He lost clean to Cody. He's a piece of garbage, but they still love him. He's still the tribal chief.
Jesus,
but
he's not a piece of garbage. But okay, continue.
So that's when Roman's music hits, right when he's about to do that splash off the cage. And I don't really like Roman's new music, first of all, because when it hit, I was like, well, whose music is that? It doesn't sound very clear, I guess. I don't know if you guys have the same feeling. But
the new variation of this theme, I don't like it the original. I agree with that.
So here he is. Here's Roman. So he walks in all slow, He should have done a Jeff Hardy dance while he was at it. But okay. He comes in. Which I don't know why he jumps in the cage, and once he gets in there, he just fights Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu is not even in there. But Solo's in there, and then as he's about to beat Solo hits him with the Superman punch Roman hits Solo with the Superman punch, and then Jacob Fatu somehow drags Solo out of the ring. So I don't know why he wasn't even in the ring. They didn't really show that, but okay. So here's Roman, and I think he's going to be in the ring. Well, he actually taunts at Jacob Fatu, tells him to come in, right? And Jacob Fatu does come in. Forgot about this. It looks like they were going to get down. But Solo pulled Jacob Fatu out of the ring, so Solo didn't want it to go down. But I'm really doubting Solo now as a tribal chief after what I've seen in that steel cage match. I used to have ultimate faith in him like Jacob Fatu, but we cut to Nick Aldis in the back, and he's saying that something's brewing, that this story isn't done for the night. So basically they kept the people. The people have to now sit through all the other garbage on the show to see what's brewing here. But basically I think Solo submitted a request to fight Roman and Cody, which I was like rolling my eyes like, oh, okay. And then this is what Robert was talking about when Cody's like, no, I just beat Solo clean. I'm out of this storyline. Why should I fight these guys? I don't need to be involved in this. That's Roman's story. So later in the show, Nick Aldis is like, yeah, I'm going to go out to talk to Roman, and then this is the closing segment. So I skipped everything else on SmackDown. So here's Roman and Nick Aldis in the ring together, and Roman's going to talk about, I guess, whatever he has to talk about, because Cody's out. So he asked for the microphone, which is the way he did it with Paul Heyman, right? And everyone was kind of giddy about this, marking out, whatever. I'm not such a mark for Roman Reigns, but okay. And Nick Aldis gives him the contract, and Roman's like, no, that's not what I want. I want the microphone. So he gives him the microphone. Roman grabs the mic, and what did he say? He's like, yeah, this is my problem with the bloodline. And he doesn't need Cody. He doesn't need Cody, and he said it's his WWE. So this is how they bring Cody back into it. So Cody comes in, and he heard him say that. He's like, really? It's your WWE? Because I think I have the championship, right? And then that's when the bloodline comes in, Solo comes in, and they're going to attack Cody and Roman in the ring using the Tongans again. No Solo and no Jacob Fatu, which again, I don't get this. I'm criticizing this scene again because why don't they just go at them 4-on-2 and whoop their ass? So Cody and Roman turn the tide, and they beat up the Tongans. We'll get no help from Solo. Roman gets the contract and signs it, and for some reason, Cody gets the contract too, and he signs it as well. So yeah, Cody reaches out like the way Roman reaches out for the microphone, which the people kind of marked out for that as well, and it looks like we're going to see Cody sign this contract and team up with Roman. So everyone is tripped out by the fact that there is a Roman-Cody alliance, and Solo basically ended this scene just by yelling at them saying, he don't even like you. He was telling Roman, Cody, he don't even like you. So, oh man, Solo is just drawing at strings here. He has no heat. He feels like he's been emasculated to me. I don't care about this tag team match, but let me go ahead with our ratings for this since we've done our summary. Let's show what we all got here for this post-match angle. 2 thumbs up from both of you, 2 thumbs down from me. Not quite. It made me sick, but I don't care about this anymore. Solo is done. He's dead. Let me, for the people who are new to our show, let me just show our rating system. 2 thumbs down for me, minus 2 points off my SmackDown rating. 2 thumbs up from you guys, plus 2 from you guys. All right, so who wants to go first? I guess I'll go with Robert. I went with Vlad last time, so Robert.
Right, Robert, go first.
You love this. 2 thumbs up means you love this. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, to go back on what I was mentioning earlier. Well, first of all, I didn't really have a problem with Cody going over Solo clean, and then I think that just plays into the angle where he just wanted to be done with them. So that he was trying to drive that point home earlier. But then at the very end, I think the reason why he changed his mind is because he's realizing he's not going to stop getting attacked by the bloodline until he puts an end to it. And the way to put an end to it is to keep on fighting until it's over. But anyways, I love this. I don't know. This was very interesting to me. This kind of reminded me of way back in, I think, I want to say like the summer of 1999 when after the Rock and Stone Cold had their WrestleMania match. I think it was WrestleMania 15. Like a month or two later, they ended up joining forces to go up against the corporation or the corporate ministry. I forgot what they were at the time, but they kind of reminded me of that, and it was just cool to see that they have to put their differences aside to team up together. I don't know. I loved it, man. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, that's cool.
Hey,
I mean, I'm not trying to shit all over you if you liked it or you loved it.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm glad you liked it. I was just saying that I hated it. But okay, Vlad, you go ahead. You also love this. Go ahead. Give your thoughts, please.
Well, I just think it's funny that of all the crap that you've seen,
this is the worst thing I've seen. This is literally the worst thing I've seen. Dude, Solo has zero heat. What are you talking about? I'm getting.
Who cares?
Who cares? Why am I going to watch now with the Bloodline and Roman?
Solo's not the main person they're pushing. They're pushing Cody and they're pushing Roman. Dude, those are the stars. They're pushing the stars. That's who. The
match is going to be a tag team match between Solo and Jacob Fatu against Cody and Roman. And Solo has no heat, so why should anyone give a fuck about this match? Tell me.
Well, okay, just because he lost a match to Cody does not mean that he can't get some of his heat back, I personally think. Who's to say they don't win the match? Who's to say that Roman and Cody can't coexist as a tag team? I don't know what their plans are as far as all that goes, but I definitely don't think it's a bad match. I think it's going to be a very nice, exciting match, actually, because it's going to be the two biggest stars in the company basically teaming up, so it's not going to be bad, that's for sure. I don't know what else to say. I liked the whole post segment after the match. I liked everything that revolved around it throughout most of SmackDown, and I liked the closing segment where they kind of join forces. I mean, not so much that they join forces, but they agreed to a match together. I definitely think there's still going to be some major issues with them. It's not guaranteed that they're going to win the match. In fact, I think they could lose it, but we'll see.
All right. Well, that'll be it for all of our talk for SmackDown. If you guys want the rest of our review for the rest of the angles on SmackDown, go to our YouTube community posts tab, and we got full reviews of every Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite. But yeah, my total rating of SmackDown took a big hit because of these two angles. Well, let's see what I got. I got minus 7 points for SmackDown on me. You guys have, Vlad has plus 3.5 and Robert plus 4.5. But for me, I got my first throw up, my first made me sick rating on this, cost them 5 points and then 2 thumbs down. So
that's ridiculous.
It was a rough SmackDown for me. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I think
I understand, but Jesus.
The burial of Solo, it was a dark day for me. But I'm going to move on from that. We're going to move on to AEW, okay? Let's clear.
But this one's not going to get any. This one's not going to get any vomit on anyone. Huh? This one's going to be a-okay.
Well, this one's rough
get a couple
too.
thumbs up.
Honestly, well, this is an angle that you on our posts. Well, once again, hold on. Before we move on, let me just do a little plug for our channel here. All right, because some people might be joining us for just this segment. So if you're just joining us for this segment, please subscribe. We're on the march to 500 subscribers. We need 500. Okay, we got like 158 to go. We're like 342. Anyone who's interested in wrestling talk, this is the premier wrestling talk show on the internet. Okay, thank you to all of you who've subscribed. We love you. But all right, so we're jumping to Dynamite. All right, this was the 11th, September 11th episode of Dynamite. We're going to talk about Nigel McGuinness. All right, So Nigel McGuinness out of nowhere went to Christopher Daniels, who's an authority figure and works with Tony Khan. And he said, I got to talk to Tony Khan, right? I got to talk to him. And what came from that is he went to the ring later on in the night, cut a promo and said, yeah, I talked to Tony Khan, and he's not afraid. He's a brave booker, right? And I want a match with Brian Danielson at Grand Slam, and he did it for me, I guess. So out of nowhere, somehow the commentator, who used to be a wrestler, we know him, and
Yeah, we know.
we've known him from the past. You know, I know him because I follow wrestling. But as far as this show is concerned, he's not really. Nobody really knows him as a wrestler. But I don't know. So here's some fans in the audience marking out for Nigel McGuinness challenging. It was a very impassioned promo. I can't say I remember all of it, but it was very unusual that Nigel basically is going to get this big title shot out of nowhere. And okay, well, let's just get to it. So let's jump to our ratings. I'll put our rating sheet for anyone who's unfamiliar with how we rate angles here. And I got ratings from Vlad and Robert. So Vlad gave it a thumbs down. So Vlad didn't like this. All right, we're going to ask for his thoughts on this in a second. But Robert's at an indifferent. So he's at a 0. He didn't like it. He didn't hate it. So we'll ask for some clarification. How about let's start with Vlad. I'll give you 90 seconds. You didn't like it. Give us any thoughts you can with your wrestling expertise.
Yeah, I mean, so let me just back up a bit. What was supposed to happen, right, at Grand Slam is Brian Danielson
Against Darby.
Against Darby for the title. Okay.
Which was a good match.
But then they said, well, hey, maybe he can't make it. You know, Danielson can't make it because he's all messed up from, being almost murdered on pay-per-view, right?
Yeah,
that would make sense, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. He was suffocated by Moxley.
He was suffocated. He was suffocated. So, which, is a normal thing in AEW. It happens. So they said, okay, he's not going to make it. So then they're going to have a kind of a number one contenders match with Darby and Moxley because that's the whole
which
thing.
we will discuss next after this.
Yes. So then there's that. But then like Nigel's like, well, hey, I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't know if he's going to do this. But I'm challenging him for Grand Slam because of all the stuff, their personal history, their Ring of Honor history. Like, who gives a shit, bro? Like, nobody gives a shit about your Ring of Honor history. I know that there's been some sort of thing where he always criticizes him on broadcast. I don't know. I know a lot of us don't really watch Collision anymore, and I don't really either. But I know he does do that, and he's playing it up to the whole rivalry that they had in Ring of Honor. But bro, this made no fucking sense. Like, if he's going to be there, he should be there to defend his title. Why would he fight a semi-retired wrestler that hasn't wrestled in 10 years? What the fuck? So no, I did not like this at all. I like Nigel, obviously. I do like him. He looks great, by the way. I think he's right. He is in the best shape of his life. I remember him in TNA. He did not look as good as he does now. I know more from TNA than Ring of Honor. I didn't watch Ring of Honor a lot, but I did watch him in TNA.
Yeah.
But so anyways, the bottom line is, no, this doesn't make any sense. That's why I gave it a thumbs down. That's it. I'll let Robert.
All right. Well, let's Robert talk before we maybe continue the discussion if need be. But yes, Robert, indifferent. You don't really hate it, but I guess you don't really like it. So what do you got to say?
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I know the name as someone who watches a lot of wrestling. His name is familiar to me, but I'm not really familiar with his history because I never saw him in TNA or Ring of Honor. But just based on all the bad stuff he's saying about Brian Danielson on commentary, I can conclude that there's some history between them, right? I don't know what it is, but I can tell that he doesn't like him. Okay, for whatever reason. Now, I think, what was it? All Out, the pay-per-view that just passed, he did show up on one of the matches.
The Casino Gauntlet.
The Casino Gauntlet match.
He was at All In.
He looked decent in that, but I mean, come on, that's
decent.
But to go from that to all of a sudden challenging the champion makes no sense at all. It's not like he's beaten a bunch of the other contenders on AEW. So for him to just challenge Brian Danielson out of the blue, it's very nonsensical to me. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yes. All right. Well, okay. Let me just mention that also, in addition to your comments, for him, how really proud of yourself can you be if you beat Danielson after everything he's been through? We don't even know if he's going to be cleared for the match. He's like, if he's cleared, I'll beat him and I'll retire him. I don't know. This is just off in so many ways. So I'm with Vlad. Thumbs down on this one. It was interesting because it was just out of the blue, but I'm all for out of the blue stuff, but I can't say I really like this at all. So, okay. We're going to move on, though, to the next angle, which has to do with this one. The reason why Danielson is supposedly free to face Danielson is because Moxley is trying to get Darby Allin's title shot that was supposed to be his on that day. But before I go into that angle, let me just make a reminder to the people. Let me make a plug here for ourselves. We got an X account. We got a Twitter account or whatever people want to call it. All right. So any thoughts that I get off the cuff that I might not put on the show or from NXT or from Collision, Rampage, I would post that on X. So if anyone wants some interesting thoughts from us or from Vlad, the wrestling expert, and Robert, the frozen Asian, sometimes they send me texts and thoughts, and I'll throw it up on there. So add us on X. We can use some more followers as well. But yes, all right, let me jump to the whole Moxley angle, the Jon Moxley angle, as we call it. He has a new stable. I don't really know what to call it. It doesn't really seem to be the Blackpool Combat Club anymore, although Claudio is in it, and he does make mention of William Regal in his promo. But okay, for right now, I'll just call it Moxley's group. Okay, and they showed a clip of him after All Out, I guess when he was explaining himself for what he did to Danielson, and he choked him out and everything. And he basically said, we've tried it Danielson's way, and the diplomacy has failed. He claims he's not a hero or a villain, but he does think, quote unquote, he is the true king of this land. And then another thing he said was AEW is permeating with egos, that are out of control and that he can't take it anymore. So they're trying to drop hints at what this whole thing is about, this sort of quote unquote NWO style hostile takeover, which I'll get Vlad's thoughts on whether there's any correlation to those two things at all. But anyways, at the end of this scene, which was from the pay-per-view post-match, he jumps into the back of this Jeep, into the tiny trunk, and they drive away, which I thought was pretty...
Yeah, I didn't see that at first.
he cuts this badass promo, and then he jumps in the Jeep where his... I guess the Jeep is full.
And in the back.
I don't know.
Not even a limo. Not even a limo. So Tony Khan cheaped out again, huh?
All right, so let me continue the summary of this before we get some thoughts from you guys. But Darby's coming to the arena, and he's been called out by Moxley last week. Moxley, quote unquote, just wants to talk to him. We don't know about what yet, but all right. So here's Darby Allin.
So this guy, he took a skateboard to the arena. He just skateboarded all the way from wherever the hell he was to the arena.
He's really into skating, man. He brings a skateboard everywhere with him. Why not?
I see.
But
Would you rather use the skateboard or the scapegoat bus?
oh my God, I'm really into that scapegoat bus. Honestly, I can't ride a skateboard.
Is there an option C? Is there an option C? I don't know. Can I have to choose either one?
Option C, but that's
I don't even. I don't even know that.
You don't remember that? You don't remember Option C from TNA? Austin Aries made that famous. He was the originator. That's a way off track here. But Option C was if you wanted to cash in your TNA X Division title to get a world title shot. But I don't know. I thought you would remember that, Vlad.
Vaguely.
Anyways, let me move on to the next important segment, which was Private Party coming out. They're teaming up with Commander today, and they're going to face some jobbers. And they didn't get to do this match. This whole match.
All jobbers. Of all these people, they were all jobbers. Man. Even Private Party are a bunch of jobbers. Commander.
Well, they got attacked by Marina and the rest of Moxley's group. So
very good.
Claudio came in. Here's Marina choking out Commander. But Pac grabbed the mic, and he was the guy who cut the promo. So he's in this group, and he's getting a prominent role. So he said, they have been patient, but enough is enough. This company is broken. We are inevitable because we are a product of this festering environment. So I like that. I think they're using a little bit of realism that the company's in a shambles, and they're trying to use that in the storyline. So I did like this segment. I gave it a good rating, which I'll give you guys in a minute. But Pac basically said that this company's ours, so they're going to try to take over. This is an NWO-style scene where they just didn't let a match come off. right? Even the NWO didn't do this for like the whole show. They would get in there for one match and fuck it up. So this is kind of like the early NWO period when they were not really taking over the whole show, but from time to time, maybe it'll heat up, but I don't know. Anyways, so this match didn't come off. Later in the show, here's what happens. Darby Allin comes out to the ring. So everyone knows he's coming to address Moxley. He grabs the mic, he calls out Moxley, and he's waiting for him. And here comes Marina and Moxley. So they're like, we're not going to fight you. And basically, what happens between these guys, I'll summarize some of what they said. But Darby was like, yeah, I used to look up to you, but not after what you did to Danielson. I don't want to be like you anymore. And then he's like, what do you want? Why are you calling my ass out? And Moxley said, I'm going to need you to hand over your title shot at Grand Slam. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And Darby's like, what the hell? Are you stupid or are you drinking again? Which caught a big whoa from the crowd. And then he's like, if you want it, do something about it. And then Moxley says, oh, you want me to earn it, huh? Well, then we should fight at Grand Slam, you and me. That's him doing something about it? Just booking a match? I don't get that. But okay, Darby, for some reason, accepts. And Darby says, look, if you're trying to burn AEW down with everything you've been saying and what you're hinting at, he's going to be on the opposite side. I'm going to pull you into the fire because he's pro AEW. AEW brought him out of poverty, out of homelessness, and helped him buy a house for his father. So he's pro AEW. And then Moxley retreats from the ring. And that's the end of that scene. So, all right, let me give some ratings for this scene here. Let's pull up our rating system for the viewers. I love this, okay? I'll give some thoughts on this after you guys, but I gave it 2 thumbs up. I was kind of torn between giving it a thumbs up and a 2 thumbs up, but I think I really love this so far. So far, it might fall apart, but I really like this scene. And Vlad gave it a thumbs up, and Robert gave it a thumbs up. So both of you guys said you liked it. Okay, I'll start with Robert on this one. You got 90 seconds. Any thoughts you want to give about this whole thing? Anything from it? I know it was a lot.
Yes. So apparently, Pac couldn't find a plain white shirt that could fit him, huh?
Oh,
yep, that's the uniform for this group, for this new stable. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't.
He doesn't really look like he's part of the group at all, right? It doesn't really fit in. But okay, that was just a joke. But I like this segment too. This was really cool. I like how the group just came in like what you said, NWO style, and just beat up. Was it Private Party?
Private Party, Commander,
and Commander.
So that match didn't even get to take place. Cool, which I wasn't interested in that match anyway. So all right, great. Great job. Whatever this group is called, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, we don't know.
I like it. I dug it, and then I was curious as to what Moxley wanted to tell Darby Allin. I had no idea what it was going to be. I assumed maybe he was going to try to bring Darby over to their side to join their group, but no. I didn't expect him to ask to hand the title shot over, so that was interesting. I don't know why Darby agreed to it, but okay, it's being Darby Allin, or maybe he thought Brian Danielson was probably not going to make it to Grand Slam. Well, whatever the case may be, he did accept it. I like both of their promos, Moxley and Darby Allin's. I think they both did good here.
All right, Vlad, you're also a thumbs up for this segment here. What do you think? You gonna give any thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think what I kind of like about it, at the very least, is that there's some mystery of what's going on. That's kind of what I do like.
That's what I was going to say.
That's where I do like about it. It's not really clear exactly what it is that Moxley has planned and who's running things. I mean, we have all these rumors, all these things that he's saying about like taking over the company. Now, I don't know if these are the guys that I would believe could take over a company. Now, I have to be honest. Like, Moxley, okay, he's kind of like, he's insane, whatever. But Pac, who's never there, and Cesaro, I'm just not buying
it, bro. And Marina Shafir. You forgot about Marina. She's really the muscle of this group.
That's true. Marina Shafir actually scares me way more than Pac and the Bastard Pack and Cesaro. So you're right there. But as far as what this all means, I think that's what I give it a thumbs up for, because like Moxley, I usually hate his promos with a passion, because it's always the same thing about like twisting somebody up and breaking their bones and just eating their heart and whatnot. But here he's a little bit more mysterious of what he's trying to say and not to give it all away type of thing. And I like that because it makes you think like there's a whole bunch of different options. Now, you're right, Keon. This thing could go sideways as a lot of AEW stuff goes usually. It goes sideways, right? But for now, for the time being, there's some sort of mystery in the air that you don't know yet. I want to give it. I know this is stupid, but I want to give them a chance. I do want to give them a chance. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, and I did mention it during my review that there is an air of realism about this, because in terms of the AEW in a shambles, in terms of the wrestling community who are saying they're struggling, the egos that he mentioned, we don't know who that is. Maybe the general managers who are, or not the general managers, what are they? The EVPs, I guess he could be mentioning. But I mean, the mystery about it is what exactly is going on. What exactly is going on is they're saying they're taking over. So they're going to try to take over. So I'm interested in that. I'm interested in them basically saying, hey, Tony Khan, this company is fucked. And
but how are they
it's over for you.
Nobody believes that like this whole Shane McMahon thing is going to happen, right? Some people do maybe, but some people don't, saying that it's really it's a reach, right? But if it's just these three guys and Maria Shafir, it's just gonna fall.
Well, there was also one thing that he said to Darby that I forgot to mention, where he's like, "You don't know what's going on here. Like there is something bigger."
Sure.
So there is the mystery about it. So it's still a mystery.
It's a mystery, and you're right. It might have nothing to do with Shane, or it could have something to do with Shane. But either way, I'm interested at least to see where it goes.
All right, cool. Let me move on. I'm going to move on to the next segment. Before I do, reminder, please subscribe. We're on our way to 500. If you're just tuning into the show, we're at 342. We're very happy with that. We're very proud of every single subscriber we have. But if you haven't subscribed yet, it would really help us out. We could get to 500 and see what happens from there, because we're trying to grow this show and maybe produce more content for you. Moving along, I'm going to jump to Monday Night Raw. Okay, so by the way, this is Monday Night Raw. Joe Tessitore's second day on the microphone, which I wanted to make a side mention of, maybe a bonus topic. But I was listening to Jim Cornette's podcast talking about how, I guess he made mention that Joe Tessitore basically came from outside the company and jumped the line, right? They didn't promote any of the other guys who've been sideline reporters, or even Vic Joseph from NXT. Robert, I guess you watch NXT. Vlad doesn't, but I like Vic Joseph. I mean, he could have been the SmackDown announcer, and they could have kept Michael Cole on Raw. And I think Joe Tessitore maybe would have been better off starting on NXT. No? I mean, if he's going to get his feet wet in wrestling. Any thoughts about this from either of you? Anybody want to jump in on this?
Well, I don't know, man. Is this like a permanent thing, or this is like a temporary thing? Because honestly, I was channel flipping 2 weekends ago, not this week, but the week before, and I saw him commentating on a college football game. So he's all over the place. He was on ESPN on doing commentary for college football. So I don't know
if he can't even like focus on just wrestling. Here he is. Here's Joe Tessitore on the.
Well, how is it any different than Pat McAfee? It's the same thing. It's no big deal. He's not
really proficient at it yet. Is the problem? He's kind of new. He seems like he's fumbling around a little bit. I think he should have started on NXT. That's my point. I think Vic Joseph's really good. I think they could have put him up on the main show, on one of the main shows. That's just a side note I wanted to make. Anyways, Vlad, if you don't got any comments, I'm going to move on to this Bret Hart stuff.
I just want to say that he's not impressing me too much so far, but I'm going to give him some more time. But yeah, I don't think his type of commentary where it's like sports based it's not really translating that well to wrestling yet. That doesn't mean he can't get better, but it's not there.
I think it's fine. I just think he's not very smooth yet. Like, it just seems brand new to him, and they just put him in the Monday Night Raw all of a sudden. Like,
that's true.
So
you're probably right. Maybe they should have started him on the NXT.
All right, well, let's move on to the angle that I wanted to discuss from Raw, which is Bret Hart. Bret Hart's here, Vlad. How do you think of that, huh? Nice.
Oh, yeah, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will
be. Yes, of course.
But is he still the best there is?
Well, Gunther would say that he's the best there is now. But...
Yes, you guys are jumping ahead. I was going to cover the angle, but it's okay. No, it's all right. Well, let's move on to what happened here. So Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are in the ring, and they're going to personally introduce Bret Hart to the ring in Calgary, Alberta.
Because it's in Canada, right?
Of course, yes. So Bret Hart got on the mic, and he talked about how Canadian champions never duck a challenge, right? That they're always like him, trying to prove that they're the best there is, best there was, the best there ever will be. Which this immediately gets Gunther to come out, which I thought was hilarious that he came out just at the mention of somebody ducking somebody, because he ducked somebody last week. So he's like, oh, this guy must be talking about me, huh? He's talking shit. Yeah. I'm coming out there to talk to him. So he comes out, shows Bret his world title, right? And basically, you're right. So he basically tells Bret, yeah, you might have been, but now I'm the best there is and the best there ever will be. And he talked about, here, let me play one clip. I'm going to put this on watch along mode. It's over here in the corner if you guys want to zoom in, but this is as big as I could play it without breaking copyright rules. But let's listen to what Gunther said to Bret here.
That you will always be a close second to my actual favorites.
Yeah, this was great.
And my all-time favorite is none other than Bill Goldberg.
Fantastic. That's perfect.
The crowd knew. They were like, oh. All right, let me move back. To picture mode. That's the only clip I wanted to play, really. But yes, this prompts Sami Zayn to come out, who is wearing the jersey of that hockey player who died tragically in a car accident. So he's there being a baby face to the crowd, but that was really sad. But anyway, so Bret's here to defend, or Sammy's here to defend Bret, obviously. It's like you're talking shit to Bret. But I thought Bret was pretty disrespectful to Gunther. He's kind of like the one who started this whole mess. But okay, so Sammy's here, and Sammy basically, he still wants his match that he challenged Gunther last week, and Gunther refused. And Gunther basically said, what did he tell him? Like, you're not in my league, right? And he walks off, and I'll play some more stuff. I was going to play some stuff from Bret. It's good to hear Bret Hart's voice. Watch along mode over here in the corner. And here's what Bret said as Gunther was leaving the arena.
That looks like a coward. That looks like a dirty yellow coward right there. Walking back to the dressing room. A gutless yellow coward.
Man, Bret Hart talking like that, it made me feel like literally like I was back in 1996. You know, it just was completely the same. He sounds completely the same.
Yeah.
It was a great use of him here. But all right, so Gunther did get finally pulled back into it by Bret Hart calling him Yella. You know, nobody likes to be called Yella. But this led to like a little scuffle between Sami Zayn and Gunther as Sami got in his face. And I think the referees and officials came and broke it up. And the scene ended with Gunther kind of backing out of the ring and Bret Hart raising Sami's hand as a babyface. So, all right, what are our ratings for this? Let me pull up our rating system. Let's see what I got. I got a thumbs up from Vlad. He liked it. And 2 thumbs up from Robert. He loved it. And also 2 thumbs up from me. Big Bret Hart fan, but I also thought it was a good segment. So, all right, Vlad, you liked it. That's not a bad rating. Thumbs up. So let's hear your thoughts on this, on Bret Hart and Gunther and Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it reinvented the wheel in the thing, but it was a very entertaining segment, I should say. Bret Hart, as Keanu might know, is probably my all-time favorite wrestler. I just love the way his matches were a big part of my childhood. Just the way he worked made wrestling seem realistic. Anyway, so I liked him in addition to the segment. Gunther is just a great heel, man. He knows the right thing to say at the worst, it's basically the worst possible time in the worst possible place. You know, here he is in Canada, where Bret Hart is like a hero. He is a legend in Canada, whether some people like to admit it or not, whatever. But anyways, So, and it's like, yeah, my favorite wrestler, Bill Goldberg, man. Bill Goldberg was
I
like,
know. There was
that
too
was
much good
perfect.
stuff. Let me get
That
your
was
comment on
so
one
perfect.
criticism I have, though. Although I love this segment, I did think, because I criticized last week's segment that Gunther was
Why is he
too
not accepting the
cowardice.
match?
Yeah, it's too much cowardice. It's making him look bad. So is there any criticism for you on that? Did that play into your rating? Why you didn't give it a loved it rating?
Not. I still stand by the fact that it's going to happen, and that he's playing the heel. That he's just like he's been challenged. He's gonna accept, but he's not gonna make it as easy as like I accept. That's it, type of thing, But he's playing the heel. He's making Sammy kind of work for the thing at somewhat, that type of thing. But no, that's not the reason. The reason is it was a good segment, but I wouldn't say it was like this amazing segment. It was good.
All right. So let me reset the clock for Robert. I got 90 seconds for you too. You gave it a 2 thumbs up like me. The floor is yours.
Yes. Okay. So I love this. So I think when I first started, not started watching wrestling, but when I really started getting into it was during Bret Hart's rivalry with Owen. I think there was a build up to a Bret Hart Owen Hart matchup, so brother versus brother, and so
cool.
That was the first angle that hooked me into wrestling. I mean, I watched wrestling before that, but that was the first angle that I can remember that really hooked me into what was called WWF at that time. So, I basically grew up on Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels too, but the Bret Hart Owen Hart angle was really the angle that started my love for wrestling. So this was a special segment to me. It's always good to see Bret Hart. This is not something we're going to see very often, so I definitely appreciated this segment. Now, one thing I do want to point out, I don't know if Gunther did this on accident or not, but during his promo, he did actually call Wade Barrett by his real name, Stu, when he said, like Stu said. That's Wade Barrett's real name. So I don't know if that was an accident or if he intended to do that, but I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, Gunther was doing excellent heel work here, getting the Bret Hart and the crowd riled up by mentioning Bill Goldberg. I thought that was golden. I just, man, this segment was awesome. I loved it.
Yes, I thought they turned it around real quickly with this Sami Zayn Gunther angle, and the Bret Hart injection was nice. All right, before I move on to the next angle from Raw that I want to talk about, I would like to take a second to plug our reviews, because we can't review every angle on here. So on our YouTube posts, we review literally every single angle in quick thumbs up, thumbs down format, so you can check that out. Here's a video of how it works. Here's how you just click on the post tab. I think on the phone it might be community. And then you scroll down, and you could go to any episode of Dynamite or Raw or Smackdown. If you click on it, it gets a review of every single angle. So we can't cover every single angle here. We don't have time. But, if you're bored and you want to read through some wrestling reviews from Vlad and me and Robert, there it is. So subscribe, and it'll also pop up on your feed. So let me move on to the next thing from Raw I want to talk about, which is the booking of Hell in a Cell between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre by Adam Pearce. So what happened here in this scene, Drew McIntyre came out because he basically put CM Punk in the hospital last week after beating him merciless and making him swallow his own friendship necklace, which was a great segment. We reviewed that last week. Vlad gave that a fire, I think, right? Was that a fire from you?
That was a fire one, yes.
All right, so this is the follow-up to this. So basically, after running down CM Punk, talking about Punk, he turns his attention to Wade Barrett at commentary, who is his friend of his and usually tries to talk sense of him when he's about to do something that might make him end up in jail, right? So he turns his attention to Wade, and he's like, look, if you ever get involved in my business again and try to stop me, it's going to be an issue. And then Wade got up like he was going to talk to him because, McIntyre discussed their storied friendship, that they used to be roommates and, hang out a lot and this type of thing. So Adam Pearce came in to stop them from getting more heated, right? And here's Drew McIntyre looking at looking all annoyed at Adam Pearce. But okay, so they get in the ring, and I guess this is the part I should play, right, Vlad? When he takes off his glasses. Watch along. Let's watch along with this one.
Of course.
It will be CM Punk. It will be Drew McIntyre. It will be Hell in a Cell.
War games.
War games.
War
Hell in a
games,
Cell.
baby.
Hell in a Cell.
So there you go. It's gonna happen. It's Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna switch to 90 seconds for this, by the way, or 60 seconds. I'm sorry, because we're getting deeper into the show. So I'm gonna lower our times for this, but let's see what our ratings were. For anyone who's new to our show, this is how we review our angles. So what do I have for you guys? I got a thumbs up from Vlad, so he liked it. I got a thumbs up from Robert, and I gave it 2 thumbs up. I love this segment, mostly because of the Wade Barrett stuff and how that got all tense between them. And how could you not love Adam Pearce taking off his glasses and announcing Hell in a Cell? But okay, Let's start with Robert.
Yes. So I believe I gave last week's segment involving Drew McIntyre and CM Punk 2 thumbs up. That was incredible.
Me too.
I think that it was very difficult to follow up from that, right? I didn't expect it to. I expected to be a lot more toned down this week, but I still liked it. You know, the Drew McIntyre thinking that the feud is over, and here comes Adam Pearce saying, no, not yet. And then, as usual, whenever a Hell in a Cell matchup gets announced, they always have to say it a certain way, and Adam Pearce said it that the way they usually say it. Hell in a Cell. Well, with him, he has to take his glasses off first, so that's the only part that's different. But yeah, I mean, good segment. Nothing more I could say.
All right, Vlad, you too. Also a thumbs up. Let's hear some thoughts about Hell in a Cell, baby.
Yeah, I mean, this is the natural conclusion to this feud. I mean, I kind of hate to see it end, but I think it will be the end of the feud. I mean,
that's what Adam Pearce said, walking away. He's like, and that's it. This is definitely it. This is the end. So
I think it kind of has to once you get to this point.
I don't know. Maybe that's that look on Drew McIntyre's face here. Like, I can't let it go after that. What if I lose? I hate this guy. I'm not gonna let it go. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what.
I don't know either. I don't know either. But I think it probably will be over one way or another. And it's been great. You know, there's been many amazing moments throughout this feud. They've been killing it for a while. I've enjoyed the whole thing. Stuff with Wade Barrett. I mean, Drew McIntyre, for like the longest time, even before Punk came back, was starting to become such an interesting character. So like all of a sudden, like I don't know if it was like the change in management that just like something opened up, something happened where he became this dynamic on the mic guy. I don't even know. I don't know how that happened. But, you know, he's just a dynamic performer, a dynamic wrestler. He's tremendous. So this was a great segment. There's not much else you could say. It's just tremendous.
All right. We got a couple more angles left before we end the show today. Before we move along, I just want to plug our X again. It's at Malapert_Smark. We got all the thoughts that don't end up on this show, or maybe from the peripheral shows from Rampage, Collision, NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, whatever. I throw my thoughts on there, whatever thoughts Vlad and Robert might have as well. If you don't want to wait till we do our show on Sunday, you might get our thoughts early. So add us over there on X. Let me move along. So I want to jump back to AEW for a couple angles. Just 2 more angles I got, guys. If there's time, if we feel like it, we might hit the wheel of angles for the first time in a while. But if not, it's cool. But I'm going to jump to Hangman Page, man, because we got to mention him. After everything he's done, how can he not make our show this week? He burned down Swerve's house. He stuck him in the face with a freaking injection that we don't know what is. And even Renee was saying this, like, man, after all this, and Hangman Page said, look, if I knew Swerve had 1,000 houses, I would burn every single one of his damn houses down. And he's meant everything that he's done. And he's trying to get revenge on Swerve for what Swerve did for his family. So basically, and he says if anyone gets between him and Swerve, he will hurt them. And as he's walking away, we don't really see this on camera because the camera's on Renee, but he pushes some guy down, some staff member, I guess. And he in the back, he's walking around. He bumps into Dark Order, who used to be his friends. But now they're like, we don't even know you anymore. Who is this person? It's a different person. And then he runs into Double J, who, if you don't know, if you guys don't watch this show, I'm a huge Double J fan. But this was a fantastic segment from Double J. He told him something really poignant. He's like, look, if you keep heading down this dark path that, so many have before you, you'll learn just like everyone else. And then he gave a really good line. He said, the toughest SOB you'll ever face in this world is the man in the mirror. And that led Adam Page to literally sock him literally right there. They scuffled. He threw Double J into some chairs, and then everybody in the back basically, protected Double J from Hangman Page, who is just a loose cannon at this point. He doesn't care anymore. All right, so let me pull up our Malapert Smark rating system. Here's how we rate angles here. This is our rating system. And let me get some reviews from this one. So Vlad gave this half a thumbs up. So he kind of liked it. Robert loved this. So Robert gave it 2 thumbs up. And me, once again, just like has been going on this angle, my last 2 reviews of this angle, this was fire. I love this segment too, man. The whole thing with Jeff Jarrett, I have to say, when something just makes me happy, this angle just makes me happy, man. When I see Double J, here, let me pull back the picture of him, talking to Hangman Page here, this just made me smile from ear to ear. And if that happens to me watching wrestling, I'm going to say I more than love this. I more than thought it was good. This just warmed the cockles of my heart, okay? But all right, I'm going to jump to Robert. So you love this.
First, I want to say, before I talk about this segment specifically, that I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago on the podcast, I did mention, I think, Kehan, you're the one that brought up, should this Hangman Adam Page Swerve Strickland feud just go on forever? And I said, no, this one shouldn't. I'm starting to probably backtrack on that statement now. I don't know. This is getting...
It's meant to be, Robert.
I like it now. Yeah.
It's meant to be.
This is interesting. Well, okay, I know I didn't really like their last match on All Out, but the angle is actually interesting. So I might have to change my mind about that. I'm taking that statement back. And this segment, was a continuation of what's been a hot angle between them. So yes, I gave it 2 thumbs up. Man, nothing to do with Jeff Jarrett specifically, but their interaction was really good too. And like what you mentioned, Hangman is a loose cannon. I think he should. I really liked his that drunk cowboy persona that he had before, but I think I like this better, where he's just unhinged and
sober angry.
Sober angry, yeah. I don't know. It's cool. I love it.
All right, well, Vlad, so you never had anyone in your life that you've had like complete hatred for, that you were never going to let go of the feud?
Yeah, AEW. That's my hatred. No, but no. What I was gonna say, no, that's a joke. That's a joke to all you AEW fans. Hey, fuck off, leave me alone.
Vlad can't relate to this vengeance.
First of all, okay, look, they had the stuff with. First, I want to talk what Robert said about the Swerve thing. Now he's convinced or not convinced, but he's more open to it going on. I don't really get that. They just proceeded to embarrass themselves and have an indie match where they did everything that was wrong with AEW in a nutshell. So I don't know how that made you more likely to want to see the further matches of theirs or continue their feud. I thought it was an embarrassment. But was I entertained? Yes, because it's a spectacle is what I said. But anyways, forget that. I will say the reason I gave it a half thing is because I do like this character of Adam Page way more than a drunk, depressed cowboy. I mean, that was just stupid. That was just a waste of time. Here, at least there's something there. There's something you could use and something that can be on TV and something that you can go somewhere with. And Jeff Jarrett is obviously a tremendous, has a tremendous mind for the business. And I'm sure, Adam Page could learn something from Jeff Jarrett for sure in this thing if they have some sort of feud that they have, some mini feud or whatever. I know they've already had something previously. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not in love with it like you guys, but I do think it's an improvement over his depressed character. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a huge fan of his or anything like that, but it's a step in the right direction.
I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of the new Hangman page, and I could definitely, I don't know if I want to say relate to it, but I definitely have known people who will not let a feud go and will just hate people forever. So I could see him hating Swerve forever, especially in the storyline kayfabe-wise. I know some of it was unrealistic, but if you could believe it, it makes sense. Like, if you could believe that the guy broke into his house and stalked his kids, then the hatred makes sense. So, okay, I'm going to move on, though. Last one. This is obviously not a good one, but I think it deserves to be mentioned. But, all right, before this, let's plug our March to 500 one last time, all right? 500 subscribers. Let's do it, guys. Just all you have to do is click subscribe. It doesn't cost any money. We are commercial-free right now. Join the Malapert Smark Army, okay? We got reviews of every wrestling angle from Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite. Check out our YouTube community post tab. Go over there, go to our channel, go to posts, or it's called community on the phone, I think, and go through and look at all our reviews. But all right, let me jump to Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho, which I guess I'm sorry, but we all gave this bad reviews, but we just got to talk about it because there was a segment, there was a thing that happened on there that is worth talking about and analyzing in terms of wrestling. But okay, so Orange Cassidy is feuding with Chris Jericho again. It's a rehash of an old feud when Jericho got his $7,000 jacket destroyed by Orange Cassidy, who dropped orange juice all over him. So Jericho's out for revenge now, years later. And on Collision, he beat up Tomohiro Ishii, who's on, the conglomeration with Orange Cassidy. And he also stole Orange Cassidy's backpack. So on this night on Dynamite, the Jericho's crew, the Learning Tree, they had a 6-man tag and they won. It was like a squash match against Iron Savages, I think. But Jericho got on the mic afterward and he is demanding that he gets that $7,000 from Orange Cassidy, and he pulls a picture out of Orange Cassidy's backpack, which is Orange Cassidy with his old best friends, which is a whole nother story. I mean, we could do a whole nother segment just on this, but I'm going to gloss over that for this just because we're going to focus on Jericho.
Can you be good riddance to all those guys?
He misses his best friends. Look at this. There's Trent, there's Chuck, there's Statlander. This is like this.
Statlander, outside of Statlander, all the other three are a waste of space in town. Of roster spaces.
Let me move on to what Jericho says, though. Jericho is just basically yelling at Orange Cassidy. He wants his money. Of all the millions of dollars Jericho's supposedly getting paid, he wants the $7,000 for his jacket from Orange Cassidy. So Orange Cassidy gets on the big screen, and apparently him and the conglomeration, which is Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe, they got construction equipment, and they're going to dump something all over Jericho's car. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, okay, this reminds me of the old days. I thought they were going to dump like concrete or just rocks or something, just destroy the car. Instead, it was $7,000 worth of pennies that didn't seem to do any damage to this car whatsoever. I don't know if they thought that it would. But anyways, here's Jericho trying to sell it and crying and everything, and that was the scene. So, all right, our ratings. Let's pull up our rating system for this.
I rated this? I can't believe I rated this.
You rated this. You saw it. We both gave this thumbs down. So me and Vlad didn't like this. Robert, the worst one here, hated it. He gave it 2 thumbs down.
I probably should have given it 2 thumbs up. Okay, it's fine.
Well, you could change it if you want. You could submit a change.
I've given enough Jericho segments 2 thumbs down. One's fine in this case.
All right, Vlad. Well, let's hear your criticisms of this. Like, I don't know, just whatever you can think of.
Well, my major criticism of this is that this gets airtime. That this actually makes air, and this actually is part of the show. That's my major criticism. Not so much this, because we already passed the point of as this whole Jericho Learning Tree thing being like the worst run of his career. Like, this is the worst I've ever seen. But we're already past that point. So now it's like, why is this allowed to air? Like, why can't he just take a break, dude? Like, you're not adding any quality to the show. Just go home, go be a musician, go tour with Fonzie, do whatever you want to do, but just go away. Is that not the name of his group? Bond? No, I think it is. Fonzie.
Close enough.
Who gives a shit? Just go away, Fonzie, whatever his name is, whatever the name is. It doesn't matter. Just go. Okay, that actually is funny. But nonetheless, you should go away because that's the reason that the AEW can't, be better than it is because of segments like this and the stupidity of it. And that Orange Cassidy is also 5 years into AEW's run, is still the same dim-witted, stupid piece of shit that he's always been. And that's it. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, it's just all crap. This is all crap.
I don't know. I'm not a big hater on Orange Cassidy as you are, but okay. Robert?
No, well, I remember defending his title runs and whatnot, but go ahead, Robert.
Well, no, I just don't hate the gimmick. I think the gimmick's fine. It's whatever. But, Robert, you have railed on Chris Jericho's learning tree angle consistently. Consistent 2 thumbs downs. If you guys want to go back and check out our community posts, Robert has usually a very conservative judge of wrestling. You don't really like to really rail on things and criticize them, but this is one that you have. So, okay, I'll give you a chance to clarify the final angle of our review here on our show today.
Well, on that note, yes, I have been giving the learning tree segments a lot of grief recently. But I will say, though, Big Bill, I'm just going to say Big Bill is probably like the only exception where he kind of sometimes makes me laugh. But overall, the learning tree segments, I've been hating them. All right, first of all, I don't see how that jacket costs $7,000. It doesn't look like it's even worth $700 to begin with.
Good point.
Okay,
I didn't think of that.
Now, all right. When that scene happened where they looked like they were about to dump something onto the car, it was taking me back to the Attitude Era days, like the stunts that Stone Cold used to pull. I didn't know what they were gonna dump. I didn't think it would be pennies, right? And it turned out to just be pennies. Okay, that's not. Yes, that is ridiculous, but that's not really the part that made me cringe. It's Jericho's reaction to it.
Yeah, trying to sell it.
The way he reacted to it, it's like his car was destroyed, or badly damaged, where it didn't. It's his reaction to it that really made it.
Yes.
Made this ridiculous.
Maybe they're playing a joke on us viewers. Maybe they're just trying to fuck with us and saying, "Yeah, you want something cool from the Attitude Era? Well, we're gonna give you something stupid." I don't know.
Well, they gave it to us.
I have.
But yeah, so it's really his reaction to the pennies and acting like his car is destroyed now. That's what just made this ridiculous scene even more horrible, and that's why I give it 2 thumbs down.
All right. Well, that's it for the show. That's all I got planned on our angles. We had 8 angles today. So, what do you think? You guys want to hit the wheel of angle one time before we leave? Because I already have it set up. I got 27 entries. I got 27 angles from the week that we didn't discuss. So hold on. Let me see if I can pull up the wheel of angles. Here it is.
Yeah,
there you go.
I guess we can do one.
What do you think? You guys are down for one?
I'll leave it up to Robert.
I'll do. Yeah, let's do one.
All right, let's hit it. Whatever it is, we got to do it. Okay. So.
Okay.
Oh, God. Okay. And there's 27 angles there, so it could land on anything. Where is it?
Mariah May.
Mariah May defeats Queen Aminata in singles.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, I like Queen Aminata. I will say that she got a chance on Dynamite, but she just lost. It was kind of just to put Mariah May over. But this was separate from that angle. I guess we could talk about how she's saying that she wants Mina Shirakawa to come back. And on Collision, too, she was kind of continued that, saying that she wants to do a celebration with Mina Shirakawa. All right, so let me put this question to you guys. So when Mina Shirakawa comes back, do you think Mina will be mad at her for what she did to Toni Storm? Robert, you first.
Wow, let me think about that.
Or will they continue to be the lovey-dovey couple that they've been?
No, I think the more interesting angle, neither one of them would be really interesting, really. But I think the more interesting angle would be that Mina Shirakawa is does not like what Mariah May did to Tony Storm. So if I had to choose between the two, I think that's the route that they're gonna go.
Yeah, you too, Vlad. Is that what you think?
What? Sorry, no. I zoned out for a second because with the topic. No, I'm just joking. I honestly don't know how to answer this question, though, to be fair. I think what I want to happen is for them to kind of make up, or maybe even make out again. Can they make out again? I think that's what needs to happen here. And
Yeah, they should be a heel couple, and then when Tony Storm comes back, they both can feud with her.
I think that's right. I think that's the direction to go. They should. It should look like she's gonna be mad at her, but then she should end up joining her, and they should feud with Tony Storm still. So yeah, and they could be a couple, well, like a couple that makes out. Yeah, that's it. That's the stuff. That's my Vince Russo brain working.
Yeah, thank you, Vince Russo. Yes. Yeah. All right then.
And one more thing, guys, bro. They gotta make out at the end, bro. They gotta make out. Okay, that's it, bro.
That's brilliant.
That's the way you write the story.
That's brilliant.
That's how you get heat, bro. That's how you get
heat. Give this man a raise. All right, then. That's enough for this episode of the Malapert Smark Podcast. Next time, we'll discuss more stuff next week. All right, then. For Vlad, the wrestling expert, for Robert, the frozen Asian, it's late. You guys should go to sleep. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to watch wrestling. The show should be out by Monday morning. Please hit like if you watched it. And thank you for being here, guys. I appreciate it. And that'll be the end. All right, guys. We'll see you later.